Hello, everyone. Today, I just wanted to talk about uh, how your state of consciousness affects your health, your being. Um, it's a very difficult subject for me to talk about, but I'll try to do the best I can as far as how to explain it. A lot of this came to me through um, a long-standing um, pain that I had been dealing with, and so some of this knowledge that I'm just giving is based off of personal experience and how I came about by learning about myself, and then I can share to give help to others. Um, some of that I did describe in a video that I had about how to deal with I think it was how to deal with chronic pain or something something around those lines. I'd have to look to see what I called the video. The correct way to respond to pain, I think, and the main thing I was saying was acceptance. I didn't understand exactly why that was the case, um, but to accept it, to say yes to the pain, to accept it completely. Um, and the reason for that is uh, when you're saying yes to the pain, it doesn't mean you have to like it, but when you're saying yes to it, you're not resisting it. When you're not resisting it, you're not feeding into that energy. So that energy is dissipating because it needs your cooperation to be able to um, turn into form, to turn into um, a aspect of our reality, which is form, which is part of time. Um, so you take a certain feeling and you make it, especially if you make uh, a a certain feeling into a disease. A disease is part of time. It has certain aspects. You've created that feeling and you've given it a form to which it has a rule set that it has to adhere to in our reality. Whereas if you just dealt with whatever the feeling is without giving it mental form, then it's a little bit different. It's a general unease, general, and in fact, some of that we have in our society as it is. There's something a again a disease that we call fibromyalgia, which is basically a fancy way of saying you have pain, but we don't really understand why you have that pain. There's doesn't seem to be any physical reason why you have that, but people, they become fixated on the fact that there's this feeling of pain and it shouldn't be here. Shouldn't be. This shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be having to deal with this. This shouldn't be. All this resistance, which just feeds it, just gives it more pain. More pain. And every time you're resisting it, you're just feeding into that energy. So that it never gets a chance to cleanse out of your system, and it just becomes lodged in your body. And then the body will try to bring it back up again. Again, bringing back up in your present moment to see, can you do something with this energy? This energy is feeling terrible. And the mind continues, this shouldn't be happening, shouldn't be. Again, it is this form, identified form, which uh, it's of no fault of its own. It doesn't understand how to deal with um, that energy, and it thinks that by the complaints of it, that it can somehow fight it and get rid of it. It can find somebody else to try to get rid of it, cut me open, take out body parts in order to get rid of that energy, which usually does not work for very long anyway, because then at a certain point and stuff, that energy still hasn't been cleansed out. So it resides in other aspects of the body in which it has to come back up again. sometimes in a different way, you know, or sometimes in the same area as the surgery and stuff. So it comes back up. What are you going to do with this energy and stuff? It shouldn't be happening, shouldn't be, can't be here. So again, feeding into that energy, and it just creates this momentum of energy that just is never really cleansed out. It's your own life energy that you're just basically just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing it. And so the acceptance of that pain already just starts to dissipate. It doesn't dissipate it right away because it has a certain momentum. And sometimes that momentum can be quite a bit. It can last for quite a while. But it does get easier over time because the more and the longer you accept and bring that level of consciousness of acceptance, especially when you bring it just to this moment, then that means it doesn't turn into thought. It never has a chance to turn into thought because, again, the pain will try to trigger a form. That energy, will, you know, again, it's not meant to do that. It's really meant to come up and say, how do you want to deal with this energy now? Now that you're, you know, in this present moment, how would you like to deal with this negative anti-life energy? And are you going to respond by just feeding into that pain more, or are you just going to accept it? Are you going to bring a level of acceptance to it? Again, if you think of it as your own energy, the energy comes up, just the symptom, just the feeling. Just the feeling. Don't think about what the feeling means. Again, that's thought. That just brings it into time, and it brings it into a condition, a sickness, say something. At this moment in time, there's really just a feeling of it, or it could be a disability. You know, but otherwise, it's like a feeling or a disability that you have. And that's what you surrender to, which just all that means is that you accept it and don't feed it with thought, with form, and resist it in any way. And you know, in that case, if it's a feeling of pain or discomfort, then it's just pain and discomfort at this moment in time. Who knows what's going to happen 10 minutes from now? This moment in time is all you have to accept at this moment. And again, not thinking of the future. Well, you know, what if I have to deal with this forever? No, you don't have to deal with this forever. You have to only deal with this now. You only have to deal with it at this moment, which again just means at this moment there's no thought about it. It's just pain and acceptance of pain. And even sometimes just feeling pain, if you just say, I'll just feel the pain. And that was one thing that I think I had mentioned, that it was like to look at the pain in that one video. And I didn't understand that either. And that was a very frightening thing for me to say. But I do understand it now. And the reason why you would just say, well, I'll just feel the pain. You're in pain anyway. And you're in pain in this moment. And all you're doing by just feeling it is just, you're not feeding it with your thought. You're not feeding it. And so all you're doing is just using up that energy. It's actually becoming weaker. It may feel terrible. It may feel terrible to feel the pain, but you're actually weakening it because you're giving it a different type of energy, a softer energy. And it can't replenish itself with a thought form to generate and get that negative energy to be greater. So you're just, by feeling it, you're just allowing that energy to just flow through you. And then when that happens, you're transmuting that energy. And that's really all I have to say. I just wanted to kind of mention that. And it's a very difficult subject to talk about, but it's it's something that I do find interesting, and it becomes it very. I understand how we basically make ourselves sick, and it is actually the human mind that is creating all these different diseases, and it doesn't matter how many cures that they're going to find. Um, they will never be able to find uh, a cure for everything, because the very mind that is trying to find the cure is the same mind that's creating the disease. So it's only when you grow beyond the mind and you go into this moment, basically going above thought and going to a place of no mind, you understand what that means. You actually have to, and again, I'm saying these things, but I don't say it as a belief system to be believed. But if you are to go into the state of no mind and go into the present moment where there is no thinking, and become very comfortable with that state, and these things just become very obvious to you. It's so clear, and there is no question as to why these things occur, why people have certain problems, why, you can just, sometimes you just even see in their energy of what they're giving off just by their personality, and you kind of just get a almost like a scale of their overall energy that they are emitting off of themselves. And it also becomes much easier for you to be of help to them. Many times there's nothing you can do to help people, but being in that state and holding that state of awareness, of simple awareness, it allows the opportunity for you to be of course, help to yourself first, but also help to everyone that you come into contact with, family, friends, coworkers, even strangers. So you bring something more real into this world. Thank you everyone for watching, and take care.